My name is Latif. I'm here because I'm not on anybody's side. I don't support teachers, I don't support governors, and I don't support the head teacher or anyone. I just want my children to be in school and not to miss any school at all.
How many parents here do you think?
There's only a few here at the moment because most of them have children in the juniors, so they haven't come to drop their children off today because they have to be at home, not go to work, and just babysit them at home. Right. So most of them are really upset about this. They're going to be here tomorrow, inshallah. And there are going to be a few who are going to join me today, inshallah, let's see, but I don't want quantity. I just want, even if I'm going to be standing there alone, just voicing my opinion. Most of them have the same opinion, but don't want to voice it at the moment.
So what advice could you give to, the teachers that have a grievance? What advice could you give them to soldiers?
I just tell them to keep the children out of it. I don't see any point in striking because it has no outcome until today. They haven't come to any resolution or any sort of decision, and it's still going on. If we don't say anything, they're going to do maybe 3 days next time or 4 days next time. This has to come to a stop. It's not acceptable for children to miss even 1 day of school.
Do you have any advice for the governors and management, head teachers?
You know what? I just think that what they're doing is, I completely in agreement with it. I think change is the best thing. You know, most of the TAs that are becoming redundant are there since I was at school, so this is 20 odd years ago, and I remember them being dinner ladies. So if they want to change, they're only doing it for the betterment of our kids.
Why do you think the actual full-time staff, why the teachers, why are they striking as well if they're not having any redundancy?
I just have a feeling that at the moment they're just like sulking children for me. They're just not getting their way. They're backing the TAs, which I don't see any point in at the moment. And I just feel that if the TAs are going, if they're not up to the mark...
Yeah, I'm being quite transparent about what I feel. You know, like I said, next year I don't know who I'm teaching, how many I've got in the class, who's got special needs, who has perhaps limited English. I don't know where I'm going to be in the actual school, who's going to be with me, and I need to have that preparation over the summer to get that in place.
But don't you think the head and the governors will have something in place for?
You would think so, but nothing has been presented to us. So
I'm sure year on year, you wouldn't walk into a new term not knowing what you're going to do.
Can I tell you, we have a thing called directed time that's supposed to be put in place now for next September. It tells the teachers what they're going to be doing in terms of their working life, where they're going to be, how many meetings they're going to have, how many days they're going to be expected to, how many hours they're expected to work. And this has not been put in place. It wasn't put in place last year, and it still hasn't been put in place. The bigger picture things, like the school ethos has been done, a new motto is being put out for it, but it's the little things. What are we going to be teaching next year? Who are we teaching, and who's going to support us? And
well,
if we don't sort this out in 4 weeks...
closed, you're not teaching those kids because they're not in at the moment, are they?
Well, that's it. I mean, and that's the
you know what it is? We don't need to all pull together here and look for the future of the children.
Exactly. That's all I'm worried about.
As a frustrated parent, I'm really annoyed.
That's all I'm worried about.
Because I've had to take time off work now.
This is the work I've been putting in for your children, for the children, to make sure that come September...
What class do you teach?
My teach is year 4, 4RH. And I've been a class teacher for, well, it's been my 3rd year, and I really do worry about the future of the school, and that's the only reason we're striking today.
How would getting rid of the head teacher help?
Well, I think the point that his restructuring, the idea was came from the head teacher, and then the governors passed the restructuring process, is to get rid of the support. That was a pretty major idea. That it was supposed to be a consultation with teachers, but we were never asked about what our opinion or what the impact would be on children, especially children from an area such as Highfields, where English is not the first language, where we have children coming in with maybe no English. These children were expected to sit down in front of myself, and I'm supposed to deliver my best lessons in order for us to go from a good school to an outstanding school. And that's what I worry. Come September, if I've got various children that have very different needs, I don't even know what those needs are yet. And it really is a case that I need that preparation time to make sure that I can teach to the best of my ability. That is what I'm concerned about. And if you're asking me a question, do I think we need a different head teacher, then I would say yes, we do, because the direction we're being pulled in, I'm getting no leadership. I don't know what's happening with the school in terms of who I'm going to be actually teaching, who's going to be supporting me in the classroom. And his reply to that would be, well, it's not a legal responsibility to give you a CEA. So he doesn't think that CEAs represent value for money, but I disagree with that.
Have the teachers supported in his vision, though, of what he sees the future?
Well, I think we have.
From the onset. From what I've heard is that he's had no support at all.
Well, I think there has been. There was a time when we thought, yeah, we were shocked that he came in as an executive and came to pay my house. But as time's gone by, but let's follow this. Let's go along with this.
That's a stumbling block. That he came in as an executive and got the position as a head.
Well, yeah, I mean,
were teachers disappointed
with that?
Yeah.
Oh, we weren't. Obviously, we weren't. There was only one person interviewing, yeah. So one person interviewed, one person got the job. The whole process was.
So basically, you've not supported him, then, have you?
No, I did. Yeah, definitely we supported him. We've gone along with it.
From what I've heard is that none of the teachers have really rallied to support him in his vision to see for the future of the school.
We have done up until the point when little things haven't been done.
Maybe some of you have but not shown it, and maybe some of you haven't and have shown it.
Well, I definitely,
like I said, there needs to be a neutral ground where we all sit around a table and we can crash this out and get the benefit of the children here.
There's been a lot of, in terms of who's come up with
maybe the teachers need to call the parents in and get our views, because look, you're going to get parents gathering.
Well,
this is the last thing you want. The last thing you want here is parents at our school with a sign saying parents are being crying.
This is the best thing. These parents are the people that I want to talk to and tell. The worst thing is the parents are just like, nah, September will be fine, my child will be fine. It's these people, you passionate people, passionate like me, that I want to be able to convince otherwise, because if you are caring about your parents.
You've got passion on both sides here, and no middle ground.
Well, there'll be some people that just think it will just.
In my opinion, as far as the union, they just make noise.
Well, the unions are obviously. Legally, we have to go through.
I understand that, but they're just making the noise. And they're making the wrong noise because you're angering parents.
I want to engage with these parents. You obviously are passionate. I'm passionate. I want to make sure that come September we're all right.
My daughter's going to come through the system.
Exactly. And your daughter is year 3 now.
No, my son's in year 3 now.
So your son could come up.
Yeah, next year probably might be in your class.
Exactly. And I want to make sure that we do go from a good to an outstanding school, and I don't think without that support that we'll be able to do that.
So would it have been better for the teachers to sit with the parents before striking?
Well, we have tried to engage with the parents, but on 2 occasions. But
what happened?
The turnout wasn't.
I've not been notified of no.
The turnout wasn't great.
I came to the parents' forum, where there was 2 parties there, some for and some against, and there were some parents that were just generally concerned.
Well, listen, I think it is the way forward. We need a parents' forum
to approach the teachers now. So the teachers are walking out of the school, bringing it to a standstill, affecting, that's 3 days now, affecting children's education. My son's not the brightest of students. My son's not the brightest of students.
Basically, 3 days out of the child's education. Come September, we can't open the school, we haven't got enough teachers, we haven't got enough teaching support. That is the bigger picture. It is that serious. I'm so glad you're out today, because I want to engage with you, I want to talk more and tell you about how we're feeling.
So what actually meetings did you have before with the parents?
We had you had a room in the High Court Community Centre.
It wasn't very well publicised.
Basically, we couldn't tell the parents because legal obligations. We're not allowed to because our jobs were affected. It's illegal for us to ballot the parents. So we couldn't say anything to them until we had the legal support of the union and today that I can actually tell you what's going on. So you can imagine that's very frustrating for a side that when other sides, perhaps governors and the head teachers, they've been allowed to tell the teachers, and they've also had a forum with the parents. So they've been allowed to have their side, and that's fine. You're totally, I agree, people need to talk. The whole point of this breaking down is the lack of communication. So I wanted to be able to talk to the governors, I wanted to be able to talk to my head teacher, I want to be able to talk to parents that are passionate and convince other parents that this is serious and you need to sort it out. And the reason we're doing this is for the children.
Why can't the teachers agree on an investigation with the head still there if he's not willing to move?
Well, I think it has been agreed now.
It has.
It has been agreed.
So there's going to be
an investigation.
So who's doing the investigation?
It's a person called Dave Hughes.
And what's his position?
I think he was head of governance services in Birmingham.
Okay.
So he'll be conducting the investigation.
So everybody's happy with that? Everybody's agreed.
Everyone's agreed. Yeah. Right. Nice to talk to you. I really appreciate speaking to you. Yeah. Take care.
Have a good day, Miss Ivy.
My name's Abid Matak. I'm the chair of governors at Uplands Junior School.
Why do you think the parents are here?
I've had a talk from a few parents who are against the strike, and what they've said to me is they're not really interested in the governors, they're not interested in the teachers, they're not interested in the picket line, they're not interested in the head teacher, they're not interested in anything. Why is it that their children are suffering due to the closure of the school, which is completely understandable.
So I understand that there's an investigation now.
I'm hoping to confirm the investigation as of lunchtime today. As soon as I get confirmation of that, I will let you know. But as we're standing at the moment, the local authority and the governing body are on board with the investigation. But what we're hoping for is the buy-in of the unions, which is something we don't have at the moment.
So why is it taking so long to agree on the...
Well, the governing body and the local authority have agreed for a number of days now to proceed and the actual mechanisms of the investigation, but it's taken a while to get the buy-in of the unions.
Why is that?
I honestly can't comment for the unions.
The unions say they want the head out. Is that feasible?
As far as the suspension of the head is concerned, it has been suggested, but the governing body and the local authority have agreed that no member of staff should be suspended until the outcome of the investigation. The investigation has to run its course and the outcome looked at and the recommendations looked at before anything is implemented.
You've seen the recent report about the government saying that they don't really agree with teaching assistants.
Yeah.
So what do you think of that?
I mean, I know the article that you're talking about, and I have had sight of that article, but again, that's excuse me, that is something from the government, from the DLV, and I wouldn't like to comment on that article. I have had sight of the article in the Mercury, but I've not had sight of the actual report.
What do you think the next step is going to be? Do you think there'll be more strikes?
I honestly, I have no idea. What we want as a governing body, excuse me, is for the investigation to run its course, and until that doesn't run its course, there isn't going to be an outcome.
Will having the head still there, will that make the investigation more difficult?
I mean, as I said to you earlier, we need to have the investigation before any knee-jerk reactions are made.
One of the teachers was saying that at the moment, because of the lack of communication, he doesn't know what class he'll be teaching when they come back to school in the new term.
I mean, this is a very, very unusual situation. Obviously, this is the third day of strike now. As far as school business is concerned, that person needs to take that a concern to their line manager.
So don't you think that's happened already?
That's what they should do. They should be engaging their lines of communication with their line manager, which is normal procedure with any business.
Do you think what's happened here at Uplands will have an effect on the other schools in Leicester?
I mean, obviously people are concerned, and other schools are probably looking at Uplands as to what the situation is, and I have had other chairs of governors and other governors get in touch with me asking what the situation is at Uplands. We are an inner city school, we are in an economically and socially deprived area, and these things have to be looked into.
One of the teachers was saying that if you get rid of the teaching assistants, he will have problems with the language of new children, because he doesn't understand the language and he needs to teach an assistant.
I think
to
it's
help
important
him.
to understand that we're not, as far as the restructure is concerned, we're not getting rid of we're not making redundant every single teaching assistant. And as a member of staff, they should know what the structure that is going to be implemented. From the 17, there are only 12 or 13. From the 17, 12 or 13 are going to remain, and that will also include an extra class teacher, an extra level 2 TA as well, which during the consultation the unions raised a concern to say that our members will have to do the extra clerical work and the admin work. So we took that on board under the consultation, and we safeguarded an extra level 2 teaching assistant purely for that task, and that has unfortunately gone unheeded.
If everything goes your way, how do you think the school will be in the new term?
I think it's important to understand there's going to be no winners and losers at the end of this. We're not looking to come out as victorious. What we need to do is get the school back on a stable footing and put the children first.
So how will the school be running, hopefully, in the new term?
In the new term, I mean, let's hope the investigation is allowed to run its course and the recommendations implemented.
Okay, you said earlier that that you wanted an investigation by somebody who understood education.
Yeah.
Why was that?
Because we need somebody from an educational background. Because obviously, if you're going to do an investigation, you need a specialist from that background. I think that's just common sense.
And you've got that now?
Yes, we have. You wouldn't expect a teacher to do an investigation in a hospital. Similarly, you wouldn't expect a doctor to do an investigation in a school. They need to have the relevant experience with them as they're carrying out the investigation.
When do you think the investigation will be complete?
Well, we've not had confirmation that as the governing body has been having fruitful discussions with the local authority. We're hoping as early as next week. The only reason that the investigation hasn't started is because we want the buy-in of all the stakeholders of the school, including all the unions.
So far the unions have kept saying no?
The unions have been unhappy with certain conditions, and the governing body has accommodated certain conditions.
But as regards to the choice of investigator, has there been any problem there?
There were the governing body and the local authority agreed on an investigator. The unions had their reservations. Fortunately, those reservations were put to one side in the best interest of the children.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Matok.
Thank you.